So the whole battle between all the Sunday shows is we can get the top newsmakers. Who can we get? So then they have the newsmaker, then they go to their round table, and it's the same format. It's not driven by issue. So there were times when we would do the round table off the top. We would say the hell with the newsmaker. So there was times when the Obama administration would offer up somebody, or Republicans would offer up somebody, and I would go, why? Because all I'm going to get are 8 minutes of talking points, as opposed to, hell, I could say that 8 minutes and have a real substantive dialogue, and then we talk about how do you drive issue. We did and here's a perfect example again of how you think differently, and you would not see CNN do this or MSNBC do this or Fox do it. We did an entire hour on Washington Watch on credit. My producer said, bro, ain't no way in hell you can find a whole hour show on credit report and say, yes, you can. Because of the way we did it was, we talked about not just, well, here's your credit report, but it was all the other pieces that go along with it in terms of, you know, who the hell are these credit agencies? I mean, you know, how can you have a score that's 590 over here, 670 over here, and they take the lower one? So we dealt with that. We dealt with federal legislation. We dealt with the fact that now an increasing number of states are using credit reports to allow for you to get a job. The people who are in the military are being denied top security clearances because of their credit report. So all of a sudden they looked up and we had this whole show on how credit now is running nearly every aspect of your life. That was one of the most popular shows we did. The average person would go, man, we ain't doing a show on credit. But here's the deal. That's a topic that affects everybody regardless of demographic, age, income, gender, race. But it's looking at it in a whole different way. It's the same thing when you talk about, if you talk about housing, if you talk about, for instance, I made the point in the room when you talk about black women and the economy. So here you have this whole discussion about middle class jobs and the economy and job creation. The numbers are clear. Black women are launching businesses at a faster rate than any other group in America. How often do you see black small business owners on television talking about job creation? Again, so that's how you sort of drill down on certain stories that are different than what you're seeing. It's having a different level of conversation, because I don't want to just, and also you can have a whole discussion where you're talking about the problem. I'm not having that conversation. It's so what are the solutions? What are the short-term, medium range, and long-term solutions for you to actually fix the issue? The piece that's important to me, and I've always done, and that's important with this show, is what's happening, what's the follow-up? So that's why, how many times y'all been invited to one of these big old gatherings, and so ministers will announce some deal and they call you all out and you go to it. It's a big old press conference, and then 6 months later, a year later, you go, man, I wonder what the hell happened. Well, see, here's what I do. I don't go to the news conference. I tell them, holler at me for the 6-month update, and I'll show up to that. And so for us, it's also the accountability part. If you have somebody on who announces an initiative, we then say, you're gonna come back on the show in 90 days. To give us a status report. And when you come back, you better have something good to say. Typically, most shows today, they don't have the accountability. They don't want to look back at a story. It's sort of just what's the next thing.